economic opportunity, homeland ownership. But the circle here is important. There's one that's missing, is democracy, but it's freedom, democracy, citizenship, opportunity. Those are the tenets that govern Mitchellville. Selected on purpose. Find a problem with any of those. These are American tenets. This is an American story. Just happens to feature Black people. Freedom is universal. Opportunity is universal. Okay? But those four things, I could do all kinds of stuff underneath those umbrellas. All kinds of stuff. And it was designed like that on purpose. It is really hard to paint red circles on Mitchellville and create bullseye. We're trying to insulate this thing. So some of these three-letter curse words, acronyms that, yeah, we will keep it moving. We'll keep it moving. Big thing for us, last June, we opened these ghost structures. Thank you to Madie and the whole team and Katie to make sure we didn't do anything wrong. These are aligned with the houses where it would have been during the time frame. And we decided to keep it abstract, keep the frameworks of the houses. It's something that NPS does all the time. The doors and the windows have the interpretive panels. I pushed this from the jump. Well, initially I wanted some full-out houses, but I had a paywall at the front, and that would have been the only town park with a paywall. So it gave the town council, hives and heartburn. Okay, so we had to work something out. I'm like, okay, I'll take the pay station down. You will keep our pathway straight and assist us with the horizontal stuff. But I won't charge you until you get to my interpreter center, which I'm working on trying to build. So then, since I can't police this, we kept them open and it works so much better. These are life size. And there's a lot of deep information on those doors and those windows. That area where the praise house was, this is what's coming. This church frontage is already there. There's a bell in it that only we can ring for obvious reasons. And so right now, we have benches that are being created that would be the same style as this time period, and we are inscribing hymns in the tops of those benches. That cylinder back there is a core sample. It's like, so we reached into the ground, pulled it up so you can see it, replicas of artifacts from Mitchellville area at a certain distance, and you come down a little bit, you've got this 4,000-year-old archaic imprint. There's a land acknowledgement there. So I usually mess these names up, so Katie is here. Escumesu?
Escumaku.
See, destroyed.
It's very close.
Escumaku, the Escumaku and the Kusapo. Those are the nations that we believe were here during that time. So this little ring outside of that circle will have a land acknowledgement to them in iron on the ground. We have to talk about all of it. We will do this the right way. So this is Freedom Plaza. It's one of the things we're working on right now. We've got a cool concept for how we're going to do this. But this little circular area here, the hearth is up here, but this little circular area, I've been trying to get a boulder from Sierra Leone for 6 years. There's a place called the Oyagala region and Kabbalah Mountain, where Sierra Leoneans fought off enslavers for 2 centuries. I want to walk from the base of that mountain so the descendants can touch beaches of the continent that they may not be able to go to. And people who just show up can make the relationship between Mitchellville and the continent. I might have actually had a breakthrough. That was a Fulbright person who, his wife is from Sierra Leone. They sent a letter to the Minister of Tourism a week and a half ago. And so maybe in April, I'll make it a trip. Everybody wants to come with me. Including the sister in the back. But maybe we can get some logistics together and get this boulder back and put it in Freedom Plaza. I think that's it. This is my next big structure, and Katie and our friend Quinn Ogden from S&ME Incorporated, I'm gonna say it slow. This is an archaeological research facility and auditorium, affectionately known as ARFA. That started as a joke, but it's sticking, and I don't know how I feel about it, because now everybody calls it ARFA. But every time that Katie does something, it has to go out and be processed. This will allow us to do the processing on site. And researchers who are doing work in the area can use our processing lab for a nominal fee. It also has a multi-purpose room, which is right here. Here's our breakdown. And we don't have a real building out there yet because our offices are off-site. This will be our first real building. The programs that we have to rent places for, we'll do it on site. That multi-purpose room will also allow us to rent for a nominal fee. For people who need to use it, there'll be an office suite there. And this entryway where somebody will greet them, where there'll be merchandise that can be purchased. You killed it. For a nominal fee. Revenue stream, revenue stream, revenue stream. We are hopeful that ground breaks on this summer. And it opens second quarter of 2026. Big deal. Scholarship tells us that between 25 to 40% of all African Americans can trace their lineage back to South Carolina because of Charleston. My folks are from Currituck County, North Carolina, and Princess Anne County, Virginia. My father's father's people from Virginia Beach. So I used to be up here all the time. That's a lot of our people that are from that state. It is incumbent upon us to tell all that story, give all that history, make those connections that people are looking for. And so in closing, is where you can find us. I run a nonprofit, so I'm always looking for check writers, obviously. I'm not asking you for money. But if you got some, or if you know somebody that's got $12 million just laying around for the rest of my last building, let me know. But I need cheerleaders more than everything. So if after this, you will be okay with getting a pom-pom and doing this for us, we would greatly appreciate it. This whole project is a $22.8 million project. I got $1 million check last week that puts us at 9.5. So we're almost halfway there. We're gonna get there. So this has become a passion for me. I left a very secure situation in Birmingham, uprooted my family and came all over here. And I had a 2-year promise. That was it. And it'll be 8 years in June. We're gonna get there. You're gonna hear more about us. So come check us out. If you're ever in the Low Country, we'd love to see you. Any questions? Wait, 3 minutes left. See how we did that? Yeah. You got a question?
Well, if no question, I have a statement.
Statement. We like statements.
I am doing great today. I am hitting all of the right places to be. You know, so started a new business. I retired somewhat. It's called Journey with Me. I'm gonna get your card. I'm gonna bring
As many people as you want, bring them over. We do guided tours too. For a nominal fee. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Can I just ask, so after the hurricane, in the 1890s, where did the community go? Like, where did it disperse?
Well, half of the island's underwater.
Yeah.
So it took away for a while for it to recede, but I mean, people came back.
Oh, they did.
You know, their land, they will come back to it. One thing that I did mention, the government was all fit to just let Beaufort County be messed up, especially Hilton Head. And who was over there? We're not wasting any resources. Clara Barton, who started the American Red Cross, got mad about this and personally led a campaign nationally to bring money into the area. She got it repaired. Because she, as a nurse, during the Civil War, she was in Hilton Head, on Hilton Head, and knew about Mitchell. William Lloyd Garrison, who we know as the abolitionist along with Frederick Douglass, visited Mitchellville and spoke the day before Lincoln was assassinated. About 2022, I found out that he had actually invited the president on that trip. The president should have went on that trip. And then Harriet Tubman. Our address is 40 Harriet Tubman Way. Because at the Valley of the Cumberland River, y'all saw the movie, that's the raid at the end of the movie. Don't really like that movie. I got my reasons to ask me afterwards. They freed about 300 people. Well, they freed 756 people. They led about 300 of those folks back to Hilton Head. Guess where they settled? And you don't know anything about this community. Yes.
I first want to say, well, this is one of my presentations, I'm working with today, because I've used Mitchellville as a case study in my community
Hey,
collaboration.
man.
But I had a question for the researcher. Have you, in your research on the women, have you consulted the Civil War pensions? The husbands who likely died in the Civil War. But in as much as I understand that it's important to bring forth the narrative of women, Black men were also there building their community and were dying, and Black families built that. And so I think that may be a resource that is helpful in further building out that narrative of the men who were actually also building that community.
It's a really good question, and I have used pension records. I've been very lucky that there's many other researchers, probably like yourself, who have done extensive research in terms of archival things. So a lot of my work gets to stand on this other full set of resources that other amazing researchers have built. For archaeology, in this moment, what Ahmad's talking about is like the long run situation. So I'm currently doing archaeology that I'm literally pulling out of the ground and then trying to match archival things with what I see. But in the long term, the amount of archival and historic research that can be done and connected with Mitchellville it's more than I can comprehend. It almost makes me nervous. And so what I would love to see is in the future, now that we've got so it takes me months to years to write my results because I have to process it with my brain. She's faulty. So what's going to end up happening, I'm hoping, is that we can do things like start pairing pension records with maybe living families or past families that are in the census, both in the 1890s and the 1910s, maybe 1870s is a little spotty, to start getting names not only for the places that, so if I found someone's work spot, I don't know her name, I don't know anything about her other than I know it's a woman. And so I would love to be able to start making a pathway for other researchers, and my preference would be islanders, if any of them are interested. I'm constantly trying to pull, and so is Ahmad, high schoolers and college kids, like we work a lot with Morehouse, to do research like this, so I can hand off and be like, can you do that? Because you're exactly right. And so we're at the nascent stage. And so any and all thoughts you have like that, and anybody else, write them down, and we're gonna put them in a to-do list, because you're right.
Yeah, I just had like a brief statement to call out a thing that you said, about how the church, the praise house that the community recently put there is in the same spot that unknowingly the communities before had put there, which was also in the same spot that unknowingly the indigenous community had also placed there. And I would say that it probably was known that these ancestors speaking to one another. Yeah, and that memory lineage is there for that place to be sacred like that. And I wanted to say that out loud. I know you did, but it felt very special.
Okay, I know we got a couple of questions. I'm holding you up for lunch. Can I add a little postscript on that? So that praise house that was there, people would come to the park and meditate there pray there. I've seen Sunday school there. We couldn't destroy it. It was built for the first Juneteenth festival that we ever made in 2014. This is why I knew what Mitchellville was. And so my director of programs, Joyce Wright, had reached out to Louise Cohen, who Madie invoked earlier, who runs the Gullah Museum of Hilton Head. It's the house that was built in 1930 by Mitchellville descendant. It's the only structure on the island that really represents what Mitchellville houses look like. Said, Louise, we got this praise house. We don't want to destroy it. I mean, it's got too much history. It was like 10 years over that point last year. You think you would take it? And so Louise paused, but they have a compound, okay, along with this house. It's like, Joyce, she's not going to believe it. But I literally got off a call with my board 20 minutes ago, talking about how we need a praise house on the site. And 20 minutes later, you called me wanting to see if we want it. So if you go to Gumtree Road on Hilton Head Island to the Gullah Museum of Hilton Head, our praise house is on the property.
Wow.
So it's still there doing what it's been doing for all that time. And it's not coincidental. It's not coincidental. Yes, ma'am.
You had mentioned, that, in the 1920s, they started selling the land. What are the circumstances that are happening that are the businesses moving?
Tax sale. Taxes.
And so they are selling tax sale.
There was and I'll get to your question. There was a guy, Mark Gardner, had bought up 200 acres of property from the Draytons. The Draytons own a lot of stuff in South Carolina and North Carolina, probably other places. They still do. But after the war, after Johnson gave land back to the former plantation owners, the Draytons like, we can't do anything with this. It's hot and there's mosquitoes and we don't have a workforce. So if anybody wants it, come get it. So people bought it up. Marsh Gardner bought 200 acres of property in that area and became the landlord. He got his son involved. Son went to go renew deeds, put his name and his wife's name on it, not his father's name. Father never found out about it. He passes away. Gabriel, the son, lives 13 more years. When he passes away, the mother and the daughter challenge his 4 sisters for all the property in court. They lose, so the 4 sisters keep it. Clara, the oldest, and I'm giving you the story, this is the one that I know about, keeps the property, but she has like a tax debt of $15. It sells a piece of property for $31 to Loomis and Thorne from New York. The domino had already started, but it started half. So in 1900, 3,000 people on that island, they all look like me. By 1930, it's down to 300. Because they bought up half the island and made it a hunting and fishing refuge for rich white.
Did anyone hang on to that?
Yeah, they did. They did. You got descendants. You have 7, 8 generations of Native Islanders there. And still hold, but it's tenuous. Mid 20th century, they owned 3,500 acres. Now it's less than 800 that they own. And they got, the only land that's left on Hilton Head is owned by Native Islanders and the town. And Dad started to do this. Okay, this is our last question because I don't want you to be mad at me about much.
No, I was just gonna say, along with pension records, I think there was a Freedmen's Bureau had,
Yes.
Field office down there, and those records are extensive.
We've been very lucky in that we've used a lot of them so far. They're really awesome and helpful. So that was what informed a lot of my dissertation, was the Freedmen's records, but also the AMA, the American Methodist Association records, also Laura Town, her journal and diaries. There's lots of written resources that have been instrumental in helping me navigate. And it is the goal that in our new research facility, that can be a place where we bring a lot of copies of those exact resources that can be physically gone through. And we need to look at them over and over, just like all archives, to just see what else fits the more things we learn.
You got anything else?
Thank you all.
Thank y'all.
for coming.
Yeah, let me make sure you get a car. Anything we do to work together, man, let's do that. And you too, I was ready for.
George Wright, your director of programs.
Yes,
Okay, and you send me a copy of this class, if I.
yeah, email me, I'll get to you.